Pinnacle reached out to us about sponsoring a whole episode featuring one of their products, and we said, sure. They sent over their conduit kit of 2 sticks of DDR4 RAM running at 3600 MHz CL18. So we wondered, why do you want us to showcase DDR4 RAM now where DDR5 exists? So I started wondering, is DDR4 relevant in 2023? But first, more about our sponsor. Pinnacle, or Pinnacle Gaming, is a daughter company of US-based TimeTech, who is known for their RAM and SSDs. In contrast to TimeTech, Pinnacle is the gaming-focused brand. They have a few products out. First would be their conduit DDR4 kit sent for this video, but they also got the RGB version and an SSD. For the RAM, they got them in white and black for both RGB and non-RGB, as well as 3200 MHz CL16 and 3600 MHz at CL18. And from there, it's all about size, going from 8 to 32 gigs per stick. And if you would like to summarize Pinnacle in a single sentence, Pinnacle is the high-performance line of TimeTech, but with that extra gaming flair, and for an affordable price. But back to the actual video. Although 5 is higher than 4, DDR4 still doesn't seem to be out of the game. AMD just released a chip meant solely for DDR4, and there is no reason to believe Intel will remove DDR4 for their 14th gen based on that image that MSI was definitely not meant to leak. So we wanted to test something. How do 16 gigs of these Pinnacle conduit RAM running at 3600 CL18 compare to our set of 64 gigs of Trident Z5 Neo? And before you say anything, the comparison actually makes kinda sense, because based on that RAM latency table, the Pinnacle RAM run at the exact same latency that the DDR5 kit runs on. So in the very least, we will see how a quite good DDR4 kit competes with a quite good DDR5 kit. It's not what you would expect. Obviously, sheer copy-paste work is better on DDR5, that makes sense, but the actually measured latency is still in favor of the DDR4 kit with a 5% quicker latency. And to my very surprise, as far as synthetics go, everything that follows is much more latency bound than actual speed. Passmark performed a % better on the Pinnacle DDR4 kit, WoWsoft was only 3% slower, Nova Bench was actually 4% faster in latency and a full 14 in overall transfer speed. So no, actually, based on synthetics alone, using this 6000 MHz CL30 kit will not yield you better results compared to the DDR4 conduit kit. But what about games? CSGO, for example, didn't really care. Using the DDR4 kit, we saw roughly 1% better, 1% lows, which is margin of error, so no improvement there. Metro Exodus also did not care that much, minus 6% FPS in the 1% lows, which isn't really that big of a difference. Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Far Cry 6 were finally somewhat measurable at minus 10% or 10% slower and 1% lows. It's something, not a lot, but something. Then Dota 2 took a real hit with minus 16% and the 1% lows. That's definitely a difference. And from there on, something weird started to happen. We included DSC, or Digital Combat Simulator, and ignoring that it took a few hours to learn how to start a freaking plane, we saw plus minus the same average min and max, but for the 1% lows, we saw an improvement of 24% average over 3 runs on the DDR4 kit, which is a huge freaking difference. In Starfield, the average min and max saw some huge improvements, and the 1% low saw slightly less, but still 2% is 2%. In general, DDR4 still seems to be relevant, although DDR5 will be the only option at some point. Right now, there are still many reasons to stay on DDR4. Let's say you got a 13700K and you are looking to upgrade to the 14700K once it's released. Well, based on the results here, you're not going to always see a huge benefit if you also switch from DDR4 to DDR5. In some games, yes, but generally speaking, the difference between the very expensive DDR5 kit and the much more cost-effective conduit kit was either negligible or just neutralizing the more games we added to the list. And that's not even talking about the fact that we just let a 16 gig kit fight against a 64 gig kit. But okay, for today this should be it, and at this point a huge thank you to Pinnacle for sponsoring this episode. On a side note, we also got a Discord server, so if you want to join, the link is down below. And of course, we still have channel membership, so if you're looking for a good way to sell your soul for an RG poop emoji, that's a pretty good way to go. Additionally, you can rest assured that the income will not only keep the channel afloat, but will also serve to take flight lessons. because I got no clue what I'm doing in DSC. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you want to continue, have a look at our take on the Chieftronic Nova fan set. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.